Welcome to the film room. We've got some great action to cover. All three of these series went to a Game 5 for an opportunity to play in the Final Four in Berlin. And if you regularly watch my videos and you're not subscribed to the channel, it would mean a great deal to me if you would. But we're going to dive straight into the first series, which is Panathinaikos versus Maccabi. What's been interesting about this series is neither team has won 2 games in a row, and no team has ever won Game 5 on the road. But Makabi came out early and found some success with this cleared side ball screen early to Josh Nebo, and then they ran it again a few plays later, and I'm going to show you why this worked. As Lorenzo and Josh get into this ball screen right here, the focus is on this help side defender. As soon as he leaves the hole, that's what leaves him wide open for this dunk. And this is something I thought Makabi would continue to do throughout the game, and they kind of went away from it. But if you've been watching this series, the guy who has put his team on his back has been none other than number 25, Kendrick Nunn. But one of the most memorable dunks of probably the entire year was when Cleveland went to challenge the shot blocker, Matthias Lesort. The ball went straight up in the air above the shot clock and found a way to go back in. But just a few minutes later, Lesort found himself in the exact same situation. This time he goes up and gets this blocked shot, and it ends up turning into a transition bucket on the other end. Now, one of the most consistent things that happened in the second half from both teams was guards coming off of a ball screen like you see Kostas doing right here and throwing a shake pass to create an open look. On this possession, Makabi does the same thing. As they come off, they end up throwing this skip pass over to Colson for an open catch and shoot 3. But midway through the third quarter, Kendrick Nunn decided to channel his inner Lesort, and he goes up and blocks this shot that turns into a travel, and it's Panathinaikos ball. Look at him climb the ladder for this big time block. But then you get back to this ball screen that Lorenzo Brown rejects, throws that shake pass back for a catch and shoot 3, and now we have a tied ball game at 49 all. But then a few possessions later, Kendrick Nunn gets the exact same look, throws the shake, and we've got another catch and shoot 3. But as Tommy Black comes off of this ball screen to throw the same pass, it ends up getting deflected, and this turns into a huge run-out dunk that puts Makabi down by 4. Then Nunn comes off the ball screen, throws the shake again. You get a really nice shot fake that leads to a kick back to Kendrick Nunn for this catch and shoot 3, and it looks like they've got this thing rolling with 7 minutes left. But then Tommy comes off this ball screen, gives a great shot fake, and brings them back within 7 with a much-needed 3. But down the stretch, Kendrick Nunn was just too much for Makabi to handle. First, he comes off of this twisted ball screen by Lesort and hits this tough 3 off the bounce, and then in transition, he snakes his way into the paint and hits this tough floater over the top of the shot blocker. Now, Brown tried to come back down and put them within a respectable margin with a few minutes left by hitting this 3, but like I said, it was the MVP of the series and the game. Kendrick Nunn puts the nail in the coffin with this 3. The shirts are off, and for the first time since 2012, Panathinaikos is headed to the Final Four. As we transition to the series between Monaco and Fenerbahce, Monaco has history on their side because, like I said, no away team has ever won on the road in Game 5, and James and Diallo are trying to make sure they're not a part of history. Now, early in this game, Calathes had this great assist as he comes off of the ball screen, looks like he's going to throw the shake, and finds the big for an easy dunk. And then, as to be expected, they decided to isolate Nigel Hayes-Davis in the post. He weaves his way through traffic for this nice finish. But on the other end, Diallo gets Hayes-Davis in this one-on-one situation, has this nice step back to create space, and then shoots a floater over the top. And one of the guys who was quietly one of the best players in this series was Akobo, who gets this steal off the ball screen and goes in for an easy 2-hand flush. And then right at the end of the first quarter, he takes off in transition, beats his man, and finds Diallo for this lob to the rim. Akobo was finding ways to impact this game, not just with his scoring, but also with his passing, as he throws this really nice dime off the short roll that leads to an and one. And then right after that, he comes off another ball screen, looks like he's going to throw that same pass, but he keeps it, drives to the middle and gets this and one himself with the mid-range jumper. But after that foul, Scottie Wilbekin took it personally, comes off of this DHO, and this is what got him going. He hits this tough three, and then the game turns into this mini Mike James versus Scottie Wilbekin showdown. Mike James hits this tough layup on the drive, and then Scottie comes right back down, and before the end of the half hits this tough fadeaway three right over Akobo. And this was just the beginning. Then he hits this tough one over two defenders, and it seems like that basket is the size of the ocean. And then with 5 minutes left, Yorgo steps over and gets this huge block that kept them up by 4. And then on the other end, the lefty, Marko Guduric, rejects this ball screen and hits a tough three right in the defender's face. So now being down by 4, Mike James comes off this ball screen, hits a three with 2 people in his face, and it's a 1-point game. And that sets up Akobo at the top of the key in a one-on-one situation to end the series, and he draws back iron, and we're heading to overtime again. Look how close this shot was to sending Monaco to Berlin. So in overtime, Nick Calathis hits a huge three in the corner when the defense lost him to tie the ball game up, but then Mike James has the ball one-on-one, and he's trying to close this game out in OT with this tough floater that puts him up by 2, but then Fenerbahce goes right back to Calathis with this great play that leaves him open for a catch-and-shoot three. He knocks it down, and then on the other end, Monaco has to get this jump ball to give themselves a chance. They don't come up with it, and history has been made. Fenerbahce on the road, Game 5, and they're heading to the Final Four as well. Now as we move on to the final series, the 4-5 matchup of Barcelona versus Olympiacos, and if you remember from Game 4, it was back in Greece and Olympiacos won by 30. So will there be some carryover from that blowout here in Game 5 when Barcelona's at home? Well, this game started out slow, and I mean really slow. This made basket by Nigel Williams-Goss at the end of the first quarter made the score 12-9 in favor of Barcelona. So for the first quarter and a half of this game, points were at a premium and both teams struggled to do anything offensively, and that's what kept this game close. But in the second quarter, Olympiacos took advantage of this same cleared side ball screen that we saw earlier as Nikola got this easy dunk. And then 2 possessions later, Ricky Rubio, who might potentially be playing in his last professional game ever, gets this steal on the shake pass that leads to this run out dunk in transition. This bucket was big for Barcelona because, as I said, it was difficult to score during the game, and that's why you've got shots like this from Alec Peters, who's got to go to a tough mid-range fadeaway just to get a bucket to go in. But then it looked like Olympiacos was starting to find its rhythm as Shaq McKissick gets this really nice dunk off the cut. And then as we move into the third quarter, Isaiah Cannon gets this isolation that he likes, and he throws up this circus shot that finds a way to go in, and he gets a huge and one for his team by wisely putting this up as the contact happened. Now, because points were difficult to find in the half court, Barcelona had 2 key buckets in the third where they got out in transition and knocked down this three, and then when Olympiacos looked like they were going to get an easy bucket on their end, a big stop led to a wide open dunk for Jabari Parker, and this was huge for them. But it was only a matter of time before Nigel Williams-Goss was going to make a play for his team late in this game, and on this catch, he shot fakes, gets downhill, and hits a tough mid-range jumper. But the guy who came alive in the last minutes of this game was Shaq McKissick. He hits a tough catch-and-shoot three right here that puts them up for the first time, and then moments later, he gets this 4-point play, and he's got it rolling. And then right after that, Williams-Goss gets this incredible deflection off of the attempted lob, which lets Shaq get back out in transition, and now they've got their biggest lead of the night. But Barcelona keeps their composure, they come down on this possession, and after the dribble handoff, they find Vesely for this easy dunk, and now it's a 5-point game. But with 25 seconds left, they needed to get a steal to get the ball back. They end up not protecting the bucket, and that's the ball game. Lightning struck twice on the same day. That's another team winning on the road in Game 5 to go to the Final Four, and our matchups are set. Olympiacos will see Real Madrid, and Panathinaikos will take on Fenerbahce. Now, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Who do you think is going to win these matchups in the Final Four? Share this video with a friend, and we'll see you back here after the semifinal games. Thanks for coming through. We'll see you next time in the film room.